You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
No, sir.
Good. Because when trust breaks, people don't get fired. They disappear.
Lagos never truly sleeps. Even in the early hours of the morning, the city breathes. Engines humming, distant horns blaring, generators coughing to life. But on this particular day, something felt off. Not loud, not obvious, just tense. Along I-Corridor Road, massive billboards watched over traffic like silent judges. On every one of them was the same face. Honorable James Bello, perfect suit, calm eyes, a soft, reassuring smile. The kind of smile people trusted. The kind of smile mothers pointed at and said, "That one is different." James Bello was everywhere. On buses, on radio, on TV interviews, on street posters pasted crookedly on concrete walls. They called him the man of the people. They said he rose from nothing. They said he understood suffering. They said he had clean hands in a dirty system. And Lagos believed him. Tunde believed him too. Tunde was 26 years old, tall and slim, with observant eyes that missed very little. He worked as a junior media assistant in James Bello's political office in Nigerian. It wasn't a glamorous job. He edited short campaign videos, carried files between offices, answered phones when senior staff were busy. But to Tunde, it was everything. This job meant access. It meant being close to power. It meant hope. "This man will change Nigeria," Tunde once told his mother over the phone. She was quiet for a moment before replying. "Just be careful around powerful people," she said. Tunde laughed it off. At the time, he didn't understand. James Bello noticed Tunde quickly. He liked quiet people. People who listened more than they spoke. People who didn't ask unnecessary questions. One afternoon after a strategy meeting, James stopped Tunde by the door. "You're sharp," he said, resting a hand briefly on Tunde's shoulder. "And loyal. That's rare." Those words stayed with Tunde. From that day, he worked harder, stayed later, asked less. That was exactly how James Bello liked his people. The first sign came quietly. It was a Wednesday evening. Rain had just finished falling, leaving the streets shiny and slippery. Most of the office staff had gone home. Only the cleaners and security guards remained. Tunde stayed back to arrange camera equipment inside James Bello's private office. The office was large. Too large. Cold, even with the air conditioner off. As Tunde packed cables into a case, his phone vibrated. Unknown number. He ignored it. It vibrated again. He frowned and answered. "Leave the office now," a deep voice said. Tunde froze. "Sorry. Who is this?" Silence. Then the call ended. His heart beat faster, but Lagos was full of strange calls. He told himself it was nothing. He turned to leave. That was when he noticed it. A black folder. No label. No logo. Hidden behind a cabinet near James Bello's desk. Tunde hesitated. He knew better, but curiosity stepped forward before fear could stop it. He pulled the folder out, opened it, and his stomach dropped. Inside were documents, printed messages, bank transfers, names he recognized immediately, police officers, local government officials, private security companies, and one word appeared again and again. Handle. Handle protests. Handle journalists. Handle families. Dates were highlighted. Amounts circled in red ink. Some transfers were recent. Too recent. Tunde's hands began to shake. This wasn't politics. This was something else. Something darker. Then he heard footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. The office door closed softly behind him. "Tunde," James Bello said calmly. "That file isn't for you." Tunde turned slowly. James stood there alone. No guards. No shouting. Just calm. I was just organizing," Tunde stammered. James smiled. But it wasn't the smile from the billboards. This one didn't reach his eyes. "You look nervous," James said. "Sit." Tunde sat. James walked around the desk slowly, like a teacher explaining a lesson. "Power," James said, "is not what people think it is." Tunde said nothing. It's not speeches, not elections, James continued. Power is control. James leaned forward slightly. And control requires silence. Tunde swallowed hard. You're a smart young man, James said softly. Which means you have a choice. The room felt smaller. Some people see things, James said, and they forget them. And if they don't? Tunde asked quietly. James paused, then replied calmly. Then Lagos forgets them. That night, Tunde did not sleep. Every sound outside his window felt louder. Every passing car made his heart jump. The next morning, the news broke quietly. A journalist named Ao had gone missing. Ao was known for asking difficult questions about government contracts. By afternoon, his social media accounts were gone. By evening, people said he had traveled abroad. But nobody knew where. Tunde knew something was wrong. Then the calls started. Unknown numbers. Short messages. Cold warnings. Stay focused. Don't ruin your future. Be grateful. James Bellow's campaign grew stronger. Crowds became larger. Applause became louder. Fear became quieter. One afternoon, Tunde met Kemi, a young activist, at a small roadside cafe in Yaba. She spoke carefully, watching people around them. They are watching everyone, she whispered. Journalists, protesters, even families. Who? Tunde asked, though he already knew. The people behind him, she said. And him. That night, Kemi's apartment was broken into. Nothing was stolen. Just a message written on the wall. Stop digging. Tunde understood then. James Bellow wasn't hiding evil. He was managing it. Using power like a weapon. Using silence like a shield. At a massive rally in Tafua Balewa Square, James Bellow stood on stage, arms raised as thousands cheered. Together, he shouted, "We will build a better Nigeria." Tunde stood behind the stage, clapping slowly. His heart was pounding, because now he knew the truth. And in Lagos, knowing the truth was more dangerous than lying. The man everybody trusted was not a savior. He was the storm, and the storm had only just begun. Lagos had moved on. Traffic still screamed. Markets still shouted. Politics still smiled. But for Tunde, nothing felt normal anymore. He woke up every morning with the same thought. Someone is watching me. It wasn't paranoia. It was experience. At the campaign office in Ikeja, everything looked the same. Posters, smiles, promises, staff laughing too loudly at James Bellow's jokes. But now Tunde noticed the details. Which offices had cameras, which corridors stayed dark, which staff members avoided eye contact. He noticed how certain police officers came and went freely, never signing the visitor's book. He noticed how security reports disappeared. And most of all, he noticed how James Bellow watched people. Not with anger, with calculation. James called Tunde into his office again 3 days after the rally. "Tunde," he said warmly, gesturing to a chair. "Sit. Relax." "Tunde Saturday, I've been thinking," James continued, pouring himself water. "Young people like you are the future of this country." Tunde nodded carefully. "I want to trust you more," James said. "Give you responsibility." That word, responsibility, sounded like promotion. But Tunde heard the warning underneath. "I'm grateful, sir," Tunde replied. James smiled. "Good. Then you won't mind helping me with something sensitive." Tunde's stomach tightened. "There's a protest planned next week," James said calmly. "Students, activists, unnecessary noise." He slid a document across the desk. "Your job is simple," James said. "Monitor online activity. Identify organizers. Locations. Timing." Tunde stared at the paper. "And if I don't?" he asked quietly. James looked at him, still smiling. "That won't happen," he said. That evening, Tunde met Kemi again. This time, they didn't sit anywhere public. They stood under a dim streetlight near the 3rd mainland bridge, cars rushing past like waves. "They want me involved," Tunde said. "Directly." Kemi nodded. "They always do. That's how they trap you." "What happened to Ao?" Tunde asked. Kemi looked away. Some people say he's alive, she said. Some say he was handed over to private handlers. Handlers? Tunde whispered. Kemi turned sharply. You've heard that word too? Tunde nodded. Silence fell between them. Then Kemi said softly, we need proof. Something undeniable. I already saw documents, Tunde said. But they're inside his office. Kemi shook her head. That's not enough. Documents disappear. We need recordings, transactions, orders. Tunde felt the weight settle on his chest. This is bigger than us, he said. Kemi smiled sadly. That's why it matters. The protest day arrived faster than expected. University students gathered at Freedom Park early in the morning. They held placards. They sang. They shouted demands for accountability. Peaceful. Orderly. By noon, police trucks arrived. Not local police. Special units. Unmarked. Tunde watched from a distance, phone in hand, recording discreetly. He saw officers whispering into radios. He saw certain faces marked. Then the first tear gas canister flew. Chaos followed. Screams. Running. People falling. Tunde's phone shook as he filmed. Then his screen went black. Battery dead. Or jammed. He didn't know. But he knew one thing. This was planned. That night, James Bello appeared on television. The protest turned violent, James said solemnly. Law enforcement acted responsibly to protect lives. Tunde stared at the screen in disbelief. Violent? He had been there. He had seen the truth. But the truth wasn't loud enough. 2 days later, Kemi disappeared. Her phone went off. Her social media vanished. Her apartment was sealed. Neighbors said police came late at night. No explanation. No warrant. Just silence. Tunde felt something break inside him. This wasn't politics anymore. This was war. Quiet war. James called him again. You've been doing well, James said. But you look tired. I'm fine, sir, Tunde replied. James leaned back. Good. Because elections are close. And loyalty matters now more than ever. He paused. There's a journalist asking questions, James continued. I want you to monitor him. Tunde's heart raced. What kind of monitoring? He asked. James's voice dropped slightly. Ensure he understands limits. That was it. That was the line. Tunde nodded slowly. Yes, sir, he said, and decided something in that moment. He would not be silent. That night, Tunde met someone else. Sadiq, a former bank compliance officer who had quietly left Nigeria's financial sector after refusing to approve suspicious transfers. They met inside a mosque courtyard, pretending to pray. You were right, Sadiq whispered. The money trails lead back to him. How deep? Tunde asked. Police units, private security, foreign accounts, Sadiq replied, and donations that never reach communities. Can you prove it? Tunde asked. Sadiq nodded. But once this goes out, Sadiq said, there's no coming back. Tunde thought of Kemi, of Ao, of the protest. Good, he said, because I'm done hiding. James Bello felt it too. The shift, the resistance. He noticed Tunde had grown quieter, more careful, less afraid. That worried him. Power feared one thing above all else. Exposure. James summoned Officer Raji, head of a special police unit. Someone close to me is leaking, James said. Find out who. Raji nodded. And if we confirm? James's voice was calm. Contain it. That night, Tunde's apartment door was tested. Not forced, just tested. Someone checking. A message was slipped under the door. Last warning. Tunde didn't sleep. He backed up files. Sent encrypted copies to 2 journalists. One inside Nigeria, one outside. He recorded voice notes, dates, names, instructions. The next morning, James Bello stood before cameras again. Confident, smiling, poll numbers rising. But somewhere deep inside, he felt it. The ground was shifting. Because the most dangerous thing in any system is not opposition. It is someone inside who refuses to stay quiet. And Tunde was no longer afraid.